Hi, Ray. Okay, so these are the things you're gonna want for your oil change. An oil filter. This is the part number for you, and then 5W30 full synthetic high mileage. I just went with O'Reilly's because it's the cheapest and it's just oil, it doesn't matter. And then this is kind of a unique thing. It's called a crush washer or a drain plug gasket, and I'll show you when we get down underneath there, but this is a one-time thing that you need to replace every time. Another thing is a big oil catch pan to have the oil drain into, and then you can take it up and bring it back to O'Reilly's. All right, so next I have your jack here. I don't know if you know, but up underneath here, there's this piece of metal that runs along the full length of the car. It's called your pinch weld. There's actually a slot in your jack for your pinch weld to slide into, so you know you're on the right thing. And then I've lifted it up just to get myself enough room for that's the front of the car, up underneath there, just so I can slide in. But so there's just this lip of metal. It's called the pinch weld. Most cars have it, and it's usually a really good structural spot to lift up the car from. And there's a slot there. You don't have the exact right tool that cranks this, but you can just stick a screwdriver in here and then just work it around. I'll show you. So I just took one of your screwdrivers that you have, and if you just stick it in the hole, you can use it like a lever, crank it, lift it up, just so we have room to go up underneath here to access where we need to go. Okay, next, pop the hood, and this is going to be your engine oil loading situation. So we're going to want to take this cap off. Ugh, well, that fucker's on there. So you want to take this off because otherwise there'll be like a vacuum created and the oil won't be able to drain out. So you can just take it off and just set it on the side like that. That way the air can go through the engine and get down in to let the oil out. And then next, now I got this jacked up, I have the oil pan here, center cap off so it can go in, and I was able to untwist this white thing right here is your oil filter. I was able to untwist it by hand after I dried it off. I'm gonna leave it for a second, because first we're gonna hit your drain plug, which is right here. So on my ratchet here we have a 17 millimeter, and so right next to your oil filter here, if you just follow this pan down, that's going to be your oil drain plug, and you're just going to go in here and ratchet it off. And then once it's loose, you can just start to untwist with your finger. Kind of keep pressure pushing up on it so it's kind of stays in there as best as possible until the oil starts flowing out. And I got my drain pan below just to make sure that we catch the oil. And then just let it drain in there, and just we're gonna let it do its thing. And that's your crush thing hanging off there. You can see that. Okay, so while we let that drain up front, we're gonna come to your new filter here. You got your new filter out of the box, and you get your crush plug, also with the oil. So with this all encased kind of filter, first off, you're gonna want to take the plastic off. Let's see if we can do a POV video. Plastic off. Another thing that's going to be important is actually you want to fill this with oil. So I'm going to pour some oil in here. The reason is there's a paper filter in here, and you want that saturated with oil before you turn the engine on. It could cause some blockage in the flow while it waits. Another thing is take your finger, grab some of this new oil that's out here, and make sure you rub it on this rubber gasket. This is really important because it makes sure it actually seals really good. And then I just kind of have some oil in there so it can start to soak into the filter around. All right, so then we have the old plug here, and you can see that this washer does not fit on there very well. This is the old one, it's plastic. Another thing to note is there is a flat side of your washer, and then there's a side that has a little bit of like a cavity in it, and the flat side will push up against the engine block. So what that means is the flat side with no groove is going to go onto the washer like this. So the flat side's facing up. And you'll notice this one fits on here way better, and that's because its job is to, as it's tightened onto, crush and flatten like this one to make a really good seal. That's why these are one-time use, because afterwards they're just completely destroyed and not good enough. And once that oil finishes draining, then we're going to put this bad boy back on. All right, just so you know too also, your oil situation is really easy to access. It's right up here at the front. It's going to be on your passenger side. And if you just go right up in here, it's just right there. So you can see that the draining there has kind of slowed down. So next what I'm going to do is shift this container underneath here and slowly untwist this. Hands are dry. So just like the plug, you're going to want to kind of put pressure up while you unscrew it so it doesn't just drop and make a huge mess and it just spins off real sexual style. You can see it starts to drain oil. You could take your hand off right now and let it kind of do its thing as it pours in here and fills that up. And you can wait till that's just out draining and then untwist it the rest of the way. And then you're gonna want to put it face down in here so the oil that's up in this container can empty out. Okay, so stop draining a lot of it. So then I'm gonna untwist it the rest of the way. Make sure again you keep a good hold on it or this will drop out and just fucking spill all over. So I got it. And then I'm gonna drain that out and set it face down in there. Sometimes there's spots in here to let them drain, but you just kind of set it like that. And we're gonna let this, that's where it came off of, we're gonna let that just kind of run out for a little bit. And then we're gonna eventually take this oil rag and dry it up real good and get all the oil off. And same with the plug hole over there. Focus the plug hole. We're also gonna take the rag and try to clean it up real nice. Okay, again, just right up underneath here. Another thing to consider is you want your car sitting pretty level when you go to do this. If it's tilted way back or way forward, it's gonna be a mess. You want it level, and to have been off for like 20 minutes to let all the oil settle out of the engine. Okay, so we're lower on the drip situation, so we're gonna come in here and clean it up, soak a bunch of the oil up. Pretty good. Same thing with the drain plug here. Just get in there and get some of that oil out, clean it up. Okay, and then now it's ready to go to put the new filter on it and stuff. So we got our new cap with our new washer on it, and then right under here I have the new oil filter. So it has oil in it, don't forget that. And then you're just gonna go up here and just screw it on. Real simple. I'm gonna make sure to dry my hand off and tighten it down extra hard, but it doesn't have to be insanely tight. Same thing with the drain plug here. We're gonna go up over here to the hole and just start to screw it on by hand. There we go. Screw it in. And then take our wrench, get up in there, and then, so the idea is to do tight, but not, like you're not trying to tighten it like it's the last bolt holding the earth together. You just want it snug. Just a nice snug fit. And that crush washer will do its job and keep it on there and stop it from going. So, I mean, even just like with one finger, like that's all you need. You're good to go. And then I'm gonna dry my hand off and get this squeezed and twisted as tight as I can. Okay, now comes the easy part. Put this in this hole. Stop putting in at around this line or like a quart left. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna check the dipstick a few times and make sure we don't overfill it, because I don't think your car takes all 5 quarts. So dump in around this line here, wherever, and then we're gonna cut back to when we're checking the dipstick. All right, so got a little bit of oil left in it. Poured it in this hole where the cap was. And then we're gonna pull out your dipstick here and check it. Psych. The first time you pull it out, nothing matters. Clean that fucker off. Okay, make sure it's nice and clean. The reason you do that is it could still have oil on it from when you just changed your oil. So you make sure you clean it off, get it all the way down there. Give it a second, let the oil settle or whatever. And then we're gonna pull it back out. And it looks like the oil is just starting to come in here. I'm assuming that your fill line is gonna be where that notch is. Yeah, right there. You can see where those two lines are. And we're a little high on it. It could be just from going down to the channel. So we're gonna stop right there and put this fucker back in. Screw this cap on. Bada bing, bada boom. And then clean this up. This is trash, and then the other old ring is trash. Clean this up, and O'Reilly's will take this, or AutoZone or Napa or wherever the place. They'll all take your all used oil. So your oil change is done, brother. Okay, upon further inspection, I don't know if you can see, but there's actually an L and an F on there. So we're actually a little bit low. That low dot must be the low, and that high dot must be the F. And we're just starting to get oil there. So I'm actually gonna pour just a little bit more of this oil into there. What that means is that next notch there, that's the notch that's taken out of the top there is probably overfilled. So we're gonna do just a little bit more just to make sure that that dot is fully covered. And now that's changed, you can take this bad boy down. Just make sure you do a check that no one's underneath the car and none of your stuff's gonna get crushed. And we're clear. So I'm just gonna stick this screwdriver in his biatch and twist it. What is this? Counterclockwise until it comes fully down. Then we'll untwist it and put this away for you. And you've done an oil change, Rainus. Start to finish, bruh.